podcast. Just search for Hancock and Kelley.
Senate confirmation hearings for President-elect Trump's cabinet picks kicked off in the past week. So far, the nominee for Defense Secretary, veteran and former Fox News host Pete Hegseth, has had the roughest ride. Fellow veteran and member of our Missouri-Illinois congressional delegation, Democrat Tammie Duckworth, really laid into Hegseth about the finances of organizations he has run in the past.
Yes or no, have you led an audit of any organization of which you were in charge?
Senator, in both of the organizations I ran, we were always completely fiscally responsible.
Yes or no, did you lead an audit?
And the way
yes
my leadership
or no,
has
did you
been
lead an audit?
stated
Yes or no?
has been completely
what are you afraid of? You can't answer this question. Yes or no, did you lead an audit? Do you not know this answer?
Senator, every
yes or
part
no?
of my leadership
yes
of these organizations
yes
has
or
been
no, did you lead an audit?
misrepresented
I will take that as a no.
She's not going to vote to approve him, she says. Hegseth, along with Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi and Homeland Security nominee Kristi Noem, headlined the hearings. Hegseth has been dogged by allegations of mismanaging two veteran nonprofit organizations, along with allegations of sexual misconduct. Just in November, Hegseth said women do not belong in combat. He has since walked that back. Senator Duckworth lost her legs while serving in Iraq. Michael, is Hegseth or any of the other Trump nominees in danger of not being approved?
Potentially one person is. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be Hegseth. We've already gotten an indication from some of the female senators they're going to do it. Donald Trump's going to get the majority of his cabinet. The one, I guess, to keep an eye on is Tulsi Gabbard, the Democrat slash now Republican slash person who's got some interesting relationships in Eastern Europe. She could potentially be a problem, but at the end of the day, if the Republican senators want this done, like they're going to do with Hegseth, it's over with.
What about Hegseth and the others?
I think he's going to get confirmed. Joni Ernst, the senator from Iowa, military veteran, had been silent about his nomination. She came out last week and said she's going to support his nomination. If he's got Joni Ernst, he's going to be confirmed.
Donald Trump will make history tomorrow when he's inaugurated president, and yet the bigger story right now may be the ban on the social media app TikTok, which has now taken effect. An estimated 170 million Americans use it. Millions of them use it to make a living and generate income. Congress, with rare bipartisan support, voted to ban TikTok in the U.S. because of its ties to China. Those pushing the ban say China's access to users' data through the app poses a national security threat. The Supreme Court upheld the ban 2 days ago in a 9-0 ruling. That ban is now in effect. Mr. Trump says he may delay it, though, in his first day in office tomorrow. John, he might put a 90-day delay. Why is TikTok such a big deal? It's kind of hanging over the inauguration.
Well, yeah, you got a lot of TikTokers out there, Andy, and they're not TikToking right now, and they're not happy about not TikToking. And who among us is not going to miss those dog videos? So, I think they're going to work something out. I think a U.S. investment group is going to purchase this, and I think the TikTokers will get back TikToking sooner rather than later.
Is this really about the competitive disadvantage that Elon Musk has with X now and Mark Zuckerberg
I don't
has
think
with
so.
Meta, Facebook, because
No,
TikTok's kicking them and we're trying to protect American
I think it's access
companies.
to every bit of metadata that Americans have, and we don't want the Chinese Communist Party to have that. I'm looking forward to the inauguration tomorrow. We're going to see that peaceful transition of power with all the former presidents, including the one that's outgoing there, unlike we had 4 years ago.
It's going to be cold.
It will be cold.
Moved it inside. Still to come on Hancock and Kelley, will Edwardsville, Alton, and Granite City become part of Indiana? It's our quote of the week. And farewell to Uke, perhaps the most colorful character to ever wear a Cardinal uniform, and that's saying a lot.